I know you're...
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to...
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Here we go. Hello and welcome to Swift Current. It's the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. Women's draw, we've got Kerri Einarson, Sherrilee Orsted. It will be Orsted. No, it's Einarson with the hammer. My mistake. I'm joined here by producer Connor Sims and commentary partner Hans Frauenlob. How you doing, Hans?
Awesome, Rory. Always good to see curling in Speedy Creek.
It has been a fantastic event so far. It's awesome just to see these team lists. You get excited. Like, it's truly a world-class event. We're not far away from slam quality competition here. Many of the top teams in Canada and the world gathering in Swift.
I agree. Super strong
men's and
field.
women's combo event, which is also very fun.
Absolutely. Saw some commentary from Kerri about this event and enjoying visiting the Swift Current. And Women's Worlds, of course, was here in 2016. So great to see. She's enjoying being, this big event in a relatively smaller community, but fantastic facility. And the curling is great, and the field is great. So should be an awesome one.
Yeah, that. There's been some large curling events in Swift Current.
Absolutely.
Right next door to the WHL arena, Swift Current Broncos play. Lots of Saskatchewan tour events in Swift as well, and some good curlers who live here as well. So, strong community. Team Einarson welcoming back Shannon Burchard. This is her first event with them of the season.
Yeah, that's really unusual. Kind of step in right when you're getting to the kind of the business end of meaningful games in the season. So, but they're absolutely delighted to have her back. But it's got to be a strange feeling. It's kind of like your first game of spring training. You're out there and straight into it. Everybody else is in mid-season form, and then you're walking onto the ice saying, okay, here we go. So, be a bit of a new experience for the combination, I'm sure.
fairly open first end. I've noticed more and more, Hans, the way curling is going, the first end has been messier and messier as the years go on. Just today, I've had two of the craziest first ends I've ever seen at noon and at 3 o'clock draw.
Yeah, the 5-rock rule and the no tick and all that, it's really tempting just to go for it straight out of the gate now. And so you're right, Rory, you're seeing more and more of that. I like it. I mean, it kind of gets crazy quick, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, for the fans. I mean,
yeah,
get your money's worth.
Absolutely.
I've always been a fan, just as a player, of making the opponent throw tougher shots quicker in the game. So starting the game off with the center guard, especially if it's a low center guard, that's you could run back if you need to. A fun
I'm
way
totally
to open.
with you.
Yeah,
I'm totally with you there. I mean, if you're, you've had pregame practice, you're throwing draw to the buttons, but if there's any point in the game where somebody's going to be a tiny bit uncertain about path and some speed or whatever, and if you think you've got an edge, then heck yeah, go for it. Chances of forcing a miss are higher earlier in the game. Once people have got every path clocked in, that's harder and harder to do. This end absolutely trending towards Blanksville, you'd have to say, at this point.
Yeah, and you start to focus on kind of the game within the game. Like being in these situations, trust me, the teams are not bored. They're eagerly learning the ice, making sure that they understand the path they're throwing on. This is very valuable learning time. And I've always thought the team that gets to draw the rings has the advantage in these first ends. So if you're hitting and you're rolling out, it's more than just the kind of the math of what's happened in the house. You're affording your opponent an opportunity to learn draw paths.
For sure. I mean, on a percentage basis, drawing to a spot's tougher than hitting a piece. So you're definitely learning more. If you're able to draw to a spot, you're seeing a path, you're getting the pace, you're seeing where the break is. So I'm right with you there, Rory. Candice Newkirk once again throwing hits. Sensible play, of course. Big game for both teams. Both teams have come into this one on the back of a couple of losses, so this is a fight for survival. Kerri Einarson dropped a 10-9 decision to Michelle Inglot and an 8-4 decision to Chelsea Carey. Looking to turn that around here against Sherrilee Orsted. Always used to love it, Rory, when you kind of get that little hit and roll and just leave it half on the 12-foot. That always kind of felt like a win within a tiny win of the first end of the game.
And in these ends, those are the only wins you really have. There's no guard to roll under. There's no perfect spot to be. You're chasing just these tiny little tactical advantages. No, and it is important. Just making the degree of difficulty ever so slightly harder for the opponent, showing them a spot on the ice that really they're unlikely to throw down that spot again, so they're not learning too much. That's how I always think of these blank ends, is how can I learn the most about the ice and deny my opponent the same lessons? So in the second end and beyond, we can just have that little bit of a knowledge advantage.
Yeah, because I'm not saying you do it, but if you ever force it just off nose beak and it sets off the rings, maybe you have a go at hiding a corner around it on your last just for fun, just learning a new path. So every little edge you can get. This one, though, will be on the inside of the rocks, going to spill across the rings and hang around. Nice shot.
Just to explain, like the edges, this will be obvious to most curlers, but to some it won't, is, you're trying to roll that rock to the center of the ring, so the eventual blank attempt by Kerri has more ring to roll through as it attempts to go out, if that makes any sense. So it's just little game within the game. Well, why wouldn't we roll this to center? Okay, well, why wouldn't we keep this on the wing? As much as it doesn't really matter, it matters a little bit. Take this opportunity to say hello to our fans watching online. It's been tremendous numbers all weekend long, this Western Showdown. It's in a really good time of year for people to watch curling. I hope you're enjoying your Friday night. We certainly are. Hans and I on the commentary, me on the cameras, and Connor Sims on the switchboard and scoreboard.
Yeah, shout out to Connor. We'll watch on Kerri's last one, but Connor made an interesting observation. Rory, do you want to share that? We saw Shannon sweeping that last rock.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Connor noticed during practice that Shannon was sweeping with a slider on. Apparently, this is not how she's traditionally swept. I don't have a very good eye for detail like this. So, but that is significant. That means the return from injury is changing some things about the way she's playing her position.
Well spotted, Connor. As Sherrilee Orsted lines it up. Wants to hang around. It's going across nose, but it will stay in the rings, I think. Yep, nice shot. This is the one situations for me, Rory, when I was skipping that, frankly, I used to dread. Super clean first and bang, 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 empty house, okay, simple blank, and then you nose it.
So you feel the pressure of all the previously made shots on your shoulders. Well, the boys had easy shots, and now I have an easy shot. I can't miss my easy shot. Yeah, no,
exactly that.
It's the type of temperament that it's a skill set you have to have as a last rock thrower. You have to be able to, I don't even want to say block that out, but translate that energy. Make that your strength. A little bit of a curl sweep here. I think she's got a piece. Yeah, a piece is all she needs. It's a blank end for Team Einarson. Both teams opting to play that one open. I think we'll get things going in the second when we return.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
In Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you
That's good. Here we are. We're back in the second end. Team Einarson, Team Orsted. It's going to be a corner guard for Team Einarson, even though that first stone of Orsted is not that threatening. So what does that tell us, Hans?
Well, it tells us game on, really. Kerri saying, all right, got my job done. Got the hammer here into an even end. My opponent's throwing that one pretty high in the house. That doesn't scare me much. Throw up the corner. Let's get it on.
Yeah. Yeah, Teen Einarson renowned for their ability to create offense, carry a great offensive point-scoring skip. And the rest of the team, right from the get-go, right when this team formed, Hans, that seemed to be their MO. They're all very comfortable with playing, aggressive is an overused term, but with rocks in play and trying to make things happen, put the onus on themselves to make some shots and score some points.
No, absolutely right, Rory. When the team was formed, a lot of the curling world said, okay, a collection of skips, how's that all going to work out? But one of the things you get from that is a high degree of comfort of having a lot of stuff, a lot of options, a lot of rocks in play, and being really comfortable playing finesse shots and ramping up the risk. So absolutely, Team Einarson have been so strong for so long, and yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, looking back on it, the whole, the kind of 4 skips scare, curlers are so versatile now. The skill sets are so meshed, leads have gotten more important. Seconds and thirds have very similar finesse shots they need to make. I think over the years, like the super defined positional roles kind of eroded a little bit. I think mixed doubles helps with that as well. Everyone can sweep a little bit. Everyone can skip a little bit. Everyone can hit. Everyone can draw. The curlers have definitely gotten more versatile.
100%. Kristen Karwacki throwing that lovely come around the corner. Giving us an idea of just how good that finesse shot capability is up and down the lineup of all these teams, really.
So with 5 rock rule, this 5th stone of the end, Hans, ends up being my favorite one to watch. The decisions are really interesting ever since we got that 5 rock rule, because this used to be an automatic hit or hit and roll or peel.
Yep.
And now you got to do something interesting with it. And I always love seeing what teams choose to do with that 5th stone of the end.
Yeah, I completely agree. Exactly right. Back in 4 rock days, you'd be ripping corners or certainly doing something different. Now it's usually something that you don't want to say it's a second choice, but sometimes it feels like it. You got to lob one somewhere where you'd probably rather not put it if you had a choice, but you got to make that choice now, which is great. Creates instant offense.
Yeah, some new practice regimen for second rock throwers. I was throwing second rock this year, and you have to practice a few shots more. Specifically that hack weight inside out chase around the corner guard where you're trying to bump the opponent's draw out of the rings.
Yeah, little mini digs as that come around. Hides the corner behind that yellow. That's a very nice shot.
It's 2 really, really high-end results from Teen Einarson in a row.
Yeah, no doubt. Sherrilee Orsted now will rip this corner. But even if she makes Rory that Yellowstone top 8-foot, that's a problem for them now more than a helper. And Fleming trying to move that guard, and she does, rolls it over.
Gets a little lucky with the roll.
Yeah. And increases the chance of force. But Team Einarson lying to and eyeing up those corners is something to attack with, absolutely. Pretty key shot here, I'd say, Rory. A good make here. 3's in the cards, but little deep, little light. You could take yourself out of the end, so it's a big shot, I think.
Yeah, good points. It seems innocent, but with so many Orsted rocks in the rings, this could go from exciting to a force or steal scenario pretty quickly for Team Einarson. But like we said, Hans, this is the fire that they love to live in. They're totally okay with the pressure being on, and we've seen it over and over again. Totally focused on just making the next shot.
Lots of clearance around that guard.
Leaves a bit of an angle for Team Orsted, I would say. It's not very hard to make either a double or hit and roll.
Yeah. Well, some options here. We talked about it. If that one wasn't perfect, there could be a bit of an escape route here for Team Orsted. Looks like she's going to try the inside double, move 2 rocks anyways. Going to over curl though. Man,
what a disaster. So unlucky.
Yeah.
Oh, anything but that. Touching any of those red rocks on the way by.
Exactly. If she gets by that yellow and noses the red, she's in not a bad spot, but clipping that thing and then even worse, kind of shooting through the gap.
Yeah.
Catching
that was a pretty useful rock, that yellow one at the top of the rings. There was enough end left that they could have made use of that. Yeah, really tough luck there. But
it's
had to go
green
for
light
it.
Go, hey.
So just protecting that angle now, it looks like.
Well, at this point now you can have the luxury of thinking about consolidating a 3, which is halfway through the end, not something you typically get a chance to do, but I think that's a sensible play. Can't guard everything. The curls maybe a fraction. And this one now goes into the must-make category, I think, Rory.
Seeing lots of discussion from Team Anderson about the ice, the paths, each shot. Val and Shannon specifically, a lot of discussion. Here we go, as you say, another big shot. This one's over curling as well. Oh no!
Oh, goodness. Candice Newkirk wrecking on the top stone, and those 3 red rocks survive, and now Kerri Einarson. The rings are all hers at this point, Rory.
Yeah, to give credit, like those weren't easy shots. To make both of those properly, you did have to kind of play pretty tight to your own yellow rocks. So it looks like a disaster, but it was a tough ask in the first place. Those were hard shots, and you have to throw them and make them.
Well, and that started really all the way back, to Kristen's first come around, and then one that she followed down with, Shannon's first one. Tucked around that front stone and created all that clutter and havoc. And here we are 4 or 5 shots later. And chance to lie 4. This one's going to slide a little deeper than they'd like, though. So, pinball. Could you move 3?
Yeah, I mean, you got to get rid of 2. And where does your shooter go?
Well, it's definitely damage control time here, isn't it?
With how much of the house you can roll to, I'd be tempted to just play a hit and roll on the lead red on the side of the 4-foot. Just roll big, roll all the way to the other side, and I'm not sure Einarson will have a way to chase it.
Well, 2 to come each. And so if Sherrilee doesn't hide this one well, and Kerri can just kind of dig stuff out and just chip it out, Kerri will be on her way to a 3 or a 4. So this one is, to my mind at least, absolutely crucial. You got to make Kerri spend a tough one to deal with wherever this one ends up, I think. If Kerri has an easy shot to remove it, then Kerri, I think, is going to score 3 or 4. But if Sherrilee can hide this one, force a half shot or a half miss, maybe Sherrilee can get out of this end inexpensively.
Yeah, you're all in at this point. I mean, There are 2 makeable doubles. You can make the first one right now. Hope Einarson rolls out and make the next double. But I like this. You have a lot of room to roll to. This yellow rock's going to be safe as long as it crosses the center line on the roll and sticks in the 8-foot somewhere.
Exactly. She could roll to the tee line 4-foot and would be very well protected if she can get it there.
Looks really close.
Is it going to pull enough? Oh, just needed to move another half an inch, and that would have been a beauty. Just a little strong.
Really close. And I think they're going to pay a steep price for this. Kerri's going to have a chance to unlock those stones and leave, no real easy triple. Right now, you could still make the double on the top ones and kind of sit in the top of the 8. What do you think, Hans? Do you think she'll go all the way around her stones, or will she try to tap something?
Judging by the ice, it does look like she's thinking about going around them rather than moving them. But yeah, kind of hard to say how much, if she wants to just jiggle them around a little bit. Sometimes when you bring the rocks closer together, you kind of set up a triple that wasn't there. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if she goes around herself, but we'll see. It's an embarrassment of riches right now for Kerri Einarson. Sweepers like the weight, I think.
Looks good. Doesn't look like it's going to touch the top one. Well, they're trying to curl sweep it, so it will. And a great wall of red rocks. And I don't see a double where you're going to be shot rock at the end of it. So it's going to be a shot for 2 at least for Kerri Einarson by the end of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of not very good here, unfortunately, for Sherrilee. You hammer it into the pocket, maybe it walks forward, but any way you cook it, it looks like Kerri's going to have some kind of a shot for 3.
I mean, it's only the second end. You could put the game on the line and out-turn draw all the way around wide, try to catch a piece of the 4-foot on the out-turn side. But, man, that would be risking it all.
Super risking it all. You'd have about a postage stamp to draw to make that. It's definitely there. You can see on the left-hand side of our screen the shot that Rory was just describing. You could come around the pile, go to tee line just in front of the foot there, and that would be the ultimate Houdini act if you could get the stone there. But that's totally game on the line. I think at this point, Sherrilee would be content to concede only 3. Not happy, of course.
Similar looking shot to her first. Gonna bang 1 on the nose. And not easy to get 4 at this point.
Well, now we might see that draw, Rory. Yep, that's the path. We were speculating that that could be the Houdini shot for Orsted. Well, now this is the path to potentially get 4 for Kerri Einarson.
Just needs
to go to that exact same spot, really.
2 inches to the 4-foot's going to do it, you'd think.
Yeah.
Almost to the 8-foot. Or, yeah, just even biting 4 is more than you need.
Yeah, this is one of these shots that as a thrower, you're just thinking, throw it to the tee line and trust that you've put the stick in the right spot. You're not too worried about guards. You're not too worried even about hitting the 4-foot. If you can get it to the tee line, it'll finish enough to get near enough to the 4-foot to score 4.
These outside paths have been fairly nice as well. Some clubs you'll get kind of fudgy or frosty or fresh even out there. I find at Swift Current, especially with the pregame practice and the way they nip the ice. Still a decent draw path out here. And Kerri Einarson will try to ride for 4 points in the second end. She blanked the first with hopes of this shot. Sweepers aren't touching it. It looks pretty good.
Path is perfect.
Settle in.
Awesome.
That's a really impressive draw out in a new spot. Good discipline by the sweepers to not lay a lick to that rock the whole way down. It's a draw for 4. Team Einarson leaps out to a 4-0 lead after 2.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Welcome back to Swift Current. It's the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. Kerri Einarson does what she does best, creates a big score in an even end.
Yeah, it was textbook Kerri Einarson, wasn't it, Rory? Corner guards up, got 2 perfect ones around them, forced a couple of crashes. And then from there on in, Sherrilee Orsted was doing what she could to bail out at the end, but final draw to the forefoot, putting the exclamation mark on a huge 4-point end for Kerri Einarson.
Yeah, it just seemed like there was nowhere to hide for Team Orsted. The only shots to play were ones that took them very close to their own stones, and yeah, a few overcurls, ripped their own rocks out. So some bad luck as well. But, you know, just the pressure just went up and up and up as the end went on.
High-quality teams like Kerri Einarson's punish mistakes, don't they? I mean, if there's... You'll typically only get a couple of moments in a game against a top-quality team to make a difference, and sometimes what feels like a half shot can, in reality, feel like missing 2 shots because you just get punished so severely with shot quality.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Team Einarson again playing this end textbook. Score 4. Tactically, what do? You bring the stuff into the rings. You don't want anything out front. They've got great stone position there, front 8 foot.
Yeah, throwing a guard, it's just so early, and the way Orsted needs points, they can easily score those points down the middle as well. So it makes a lot of sense to put this in the rings. Looks like they're coming all the way around, or hoping for a tap. They seem to be kind of caught halfway here.
Exactly. Right in the DMZ. That little flick creates a bit of an opening for Sherrilee, at least some options that she didn't have. Toyed with the idea of playing shot rock and maybe creeping in behind it. It's easy to say when we're watching this, Rory, you know, on the ice, you're sort of telling yourself after you drop a big end, you don't need to get it all back at once, but another part of your brain is thinking, oh my goodness, that's a 4-point gap. We're going to have to take more chances here. You know, a 2 doesn't feel like enough in this situation, even though in reality it absolutely is.
Yeah, my view on that is you want to score. You want to score before, like, the ends going away are more of an enemy than points on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't want to continue to be 4 down 2 ends from now. So you want to make your move now.
Exactly.
While a force might still be valuable. As you get in the second half of the game, you're 3 or 4 points down. A force isn't that good of a thing anymore.
Yeah. I mean, in these situations, you know, I always used to mentally tell myself that you're playing a series of 2-end games now, and you have to win every one of those 2-end games by 1 point. And if you can do that, then you maybe get a chance to survive. But then you turn around and look at the scoreboard, and it feels like a yawning gulf, and it feels like you have to freeze to everything and try impossible stuff when you just have to discipline yourself to say, well, we're going to have to play perfect from here on out.
A slight bit of a mistake there, but gets the job done, removes the yellow. Also, Hans, I think there's something to be said about when you're playing an elite opponent, or really just an opponent that you know is higher ranked than you for good reason. You do have to play a little more aggressive. You know things are going to have to go well for you in order to win that game. You're going to have to do something a little different, take your opponent out of their comfort zone. So, you know, some aggressive play is probably what's in order. Like we saw earlier today, the Gushu game versus Team Pierce. Just a really, really incredible game. Super fun to watch. Team Pierce came at Team Gushu in the first 2 ends extremely hard and heavy, playing a strategy that if they missed even one shot, it was going to be a disaster. But they knew in order to beat a team like Gushu, that's what they had to do. And it turns out they got 2 points up after 2 ends and never looked back, held a lead for the rest of the game.
No, excellent point. It's hard not to play against a stronger opponent's reputation because they're just human beings as well. So you can't over-respect your opponent. But on the other hand, history tells you things, and what that history does tell you is that you're not going to defeat a stronger opponent by kind of waiting it out and hoping that they make a mistake. That's very unlikely. So you have to take it to them to have a chance to win games like that. I completely agree. So interesting situation here, 4 in the rings, and yep, and that's what I was wondering, if this might not be the chance to try the freeze, generate something resembling offense. Hitting doesn't really do anything for you here, I don't think. Tiny little bump, looks like Sherrilee wants a little bit of separation. Does have to move the red rock off the pin, of course, eventually. I'm not sure I'd do that now, though, to be honest.
Long way to curl. Really leaning in, trying to get this one to move. Just a bit heavy. I think that did get a tiny tick of it.
It may well have. Yeah, that can be the psychological difference between thinking freeze, which in your mind you're thinking, okay, I'm throwing a draw to a spot, versus small bump, which is psychologically, even though you know it's just a heavy draw, it feels more like a hit than just a freeze, straight out freeze, which you're playing like a draw. Great chance for Team Einarson to shut the door here, Rory.
Yeah, this is going from not a great opportunity to score 2 to we might give up a few more points here. But this being deep is not the miss.
Yeah, same path. I think it's for both of the athletes. So that could just be a bit of a rocket sled down that track. Fool both of them.
We're in the third end now, right? So we're getting into the fastest part of the game. These are sort of the fastest ends, third and fourth, I think. Once things are broken in, but before things are broken down.
So a lovely little pocket potential. Yeah, great pocket potential here for Team Orsted. So with that stone sliding deep, bump this one 3 inches, just sit in the pocket.
Yeah, that was not the miss for Val. Made it easier for Orsted to kind of lock one in there.
Trying to hold the line. They don't want it to overcurl nose. Not bad. I'd give that one about an 8 out of 10. Would have been a little bit better, a bit further to the right as we're looking at it on the overhead, and a fraction lighter, but it's not super simple for Kerri to deal with, looking at launching off her own there. Coming at it sideways. Four up, Kerri is not worried in the least about losing her own here. In her mind, this is the best and easiest way to remove that yellow stone. Try to poke it out the side door.
Not a lot of options here for Team Einarson. You just got to kind of accept you're going to lose one of your own and hope you have an opportunity to get rid of it on the next one. If she gets it perfect, you think, yeah.
It's hard to see it not jamming either the one at the back 4 or slamming the one on the outside 12 on the way out. But
yeah,
job one for Kerri is to get the thing off the button, really.
Remove the backing. Your own stones are hurting you at this point.
Yeah, completely agree.
There should be some fun motion. Let's see what this rock does. Boom.
Oh, how good.
Yeah, really entertaining. Remove the backing.
Shot.
Your own stones are hurting you at this point.
Yeah, completely agree.
Try to
Good
give Connor two
zoom in
there should be
opportunities
some
there.
fun motion. Let's see what this rock
See the motion
does.
on this thing.
I thought they might even come off the back reds and punch it upwards, but no need. Right into the side of it.
Good. Yeah, terrific shot. Yeah, still a chance for a 2 here out of nowhere, though, for Sherrilee Orsted, because the pin is now available. Inside corner freeze is an option. Hit and flop on top of the stone on the back is an option. So there is still a chance for a multiple point score here for Orsted. Looks like she's thinking hit. I mean, for me, Rory, it's positioning of the shooter here is everything. And so whatever path and whatever weight you feel gives you the best control of the shooter is the shot to play.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at this point, down 4, you don't need to defend your draw for 1. You're really trying to sell out for 2 points here. So, I think maybe even just a freeze on the back one might be the play here. But
exactly. When you step up the weight, it just makes the roll or the location of the shooter much harder to control. If you're throwing a freeze, you're throwing it to a spot. None of them are easy shots. I mean, these are tough shots, right? But I think you're right, Rory. This is all about trying to sell out for 2 here.
you could still make a perfect roll and try to get it that way.
It's definitely what Sherrilee's trying to do here. Needs to be about 3/4. Just going to overcurl a fraction.
Yeah, shoot, I thought she was close.
Yeah, that just needed to stay, half an inch. But again, that's the difficulty around, like hitting and rolling to a specific spot when your roll radius is only about 1.5 rockets wide. That's tough. Should be easy pickings for Kerri Einarson. No impediment behind the target rock now. This one going exactly as flight planned for Einarson. Lovely little roll.
Really like how they didn't lose their concentration on that. They know getting rid of the yellow is more than good enough, but they made sure to execute that shot just as they planned.
With that roll to the front button, now scoring one gets a heck of a lot tougher for Sherrilee Orsted. So you're exactly right, Rory. Got every bit that they could get out of that shot, and so far this match is going exactly as planned, really, for Team Einarson. Blank the first, huge 4 in the second. Now last rock coming up on the third, and you're going to make your opponent scramble to score.
Off nose double does the trick.
Got that yellow guard there that's in your eye line when you're climbing into the hack to throw the shot. So you're right, it's just off nose double. Guard shouldn't be a factor, but you see it when you're throwing it. Little inside out on the release there, Rory.
Yeah, I got pretty artistic with that slide. Got it back to the broom, I believe. Not quite going to curl up enough. And an unfortunate roll out. It's going to be a steal of 3. A whole bunch more. Couldn't make it happen, Team Orsted. Einarson playing very well, humming along here. Multi-point lead going into the 4th end.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Welcome back, mid-flight. Kristen Karwacki, second stone in the 4th end. Here in Swift Current, RBC, Dominion Securities, Western Showdown. My name is Rory McCusker. I'm joined by Hans Frauenlob. We got Connor Sims on the switchboard. Hans, it has been a fairly dominant performance by Team Einarson. Some unlucky and close misses from Team Orsted, but really I think the story has been Einarson reaching their kind of championship caliber early in this event.
I completely agree. And first event back for Shannon Burchard, and so now third game. And so it feels like Shannon has hit mid-season form quite quickly in her curling season. They are playing incredibly well. 2 nice stones there. From Kristen Karwacki setting it up, and she set the table right throughout this game, but it's gone up and down the lineup. They've played really well. And made it very, very tough for Sherrilee Orsted and her teammates. Chasing the game is tough at the best of times. Chasing the game against a team of the quality of Kerri Einarson, super tough. Nice come around there,
Einarson,
though.
For Team Einarson, I'm sure their ultimate goal is to win this event, and so to do that, they're going to have to learn the ice and rocks and get their own slides and practice on their kind of their own standards. So this game is not, they're not just mailing it in. They're not going, okay, we're 4 or 5 or 6 points up. We can stop trying now. They're still going to do their best to learn the ice and get themselves optimized for the next game and ultimately for the playoffs.
No, that's right, Rory, and that's where it can be a plus, actually, having Shannon coming back into the lineup, because the entire team, it feels like a new season to them, because they've got their teammate back. It's a new lineup than they've been playing to this point in the season, and so that kind of makes a switch go on your brain, because you're definitely not mailing it in. This is everybody paying attention as Shannon looks on and looking for feedback. And they're very, very happy to have her back in the lineup.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of chatter between specifically her and Val. Most teams are like that. You need sort of communication dynamics, and there often is kind of more of a quiet member of the team. And Kristen Karwacki, as the 5th player, she's played a lot of events this year, but she knows the kind of the communication's going to run through front end to back end, Kerri and Val to Shannon, and fill in her role really well. Karwacki has played a few positions on this team and really fit in quite seamlessly. She's throwing very well herself. Making herself at home with one of the best teams in the world, which is no easy task.
Yeah, completely agree. Natural looking double here. Catch about a third. Pop both those yellows out.
There's that trademark kind of helicopter twist back and release that we've come to know from Shannon Burchard.
Not gonna make the double though.
Just pokes it forward, kind of not a great spot to poke it. That's pretty advantageous for Team Orsted. That yellow's going nowhere fast.
It's hard to tell yourself to be patient in this situation, but you really do, and I do like this call from Sherrilee. Just kind of leave the rocks where they are, lob one into the button, create some havoc. That yellow that you've got there now biting the front forefoot. You can use that later, but leave it there for a rock or two. And down 7, I don't want to say you're looking for moral victories here, but Team Orsted may be thinking a multiple point score here is what we're after. Just to kind of right the ship here a little bit. Start feeling better about our game. This one, though, over curls, and it's going to bite the front 12. And now it's the turn of Kerri Einarson with that button looking pretty inviting around a huge pile of stones right up the middle. And they're all
there's
overlapped.
nothing easy to get rid of, so the obvious call is to come to forefoot, and that's what they're going to do. And yeah, as you mentioned, the kind of moral victory of getting some points on the board, but also this team's got more games remaining. Like they want to sharpen the way that they're playing and make some team shots, feel good about a few shots in this end, and see if they can get a little result out of it. It's all about carrying forward the personal momentum, not necessarily the kind of competitive me versus you momentum, but as a team, you want to feel good about how you're performing.
Great looking line, just a foot short. Boy, that had a fantastic path. Still in a pretty annoying spot though for Sherrilee Orsted to deal with it. Super threatening. Tappable. You'd slash it into the yellow. So that stone just delivered, even though it's a foot short. Represents a real problem for Orsted. And she says, come on down, let's have a chat. Good look at the overhead. Aren't a lot of great options. You're going to have to reposition something here, I think, Rory. And that's what they're discussing.
Yeah, I don't think you have to move the yellow and the forefoot quite yet, but you got to create an option for getting more in there. Got to unlock one of either the in-turn or the out-turn. The whole objective is to keep piling yellows in there. Can't be satisfied with how it is right now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you want to give, after this shot, you want to have two options. Right now, yellow's only got one option, that little feather tap on the yellow in the forefoot to try and score. I don't mind promoting that stone in the front 12-foot, Rory. You can just tap the yellow back with back 8-foot weight and just push stones around, leave the yellow, two yellows in the front ring.
Sure.
You don't need to blast here.
It'd be pretty tough to get rid of all these reds eventually, but would you ever kind of get your own yellow high side roll towards your corner?
Could do that. You've got a lot of red to move to make that stone count, but that's definitely an option as well.
And that's not including the 3 red stones to come.
Exactly right.
It is very advantageous angles for Team Einarson right now. Something's got to change.
Yeah, I just get the feeling, well, they are talking about playing back 8-foot weight, so that's a positive. So if they're coming down this path, I'm not sure if they're going to try to make a play to their own at this point, or just try and move one of those 2 front reds and just reposition the yellow in front. We're about to find out. As you say, I don't think they need to make a move on their own stone on this shot, but that does look like what they're trying to do. Just going to try and feather it and reposition it into shot position. Move it into second shot position. Better, but it's still a situation where Kerri Einarson can remove second shot and kind of surround that yellow stone. Definitely better than it was for Sherrilee Orsted.
It's another yellow rock in the 8-foot. I mean,
yeah,
something that Einarson's gonna have to deal with. Yeah, she's pointing out all the things that Team Orsted could do with it. So I think a hit.
Well, we talked pre-shot. Exactly. Sorry to interrupt, Rory, but yeah, that's exactly. Now that Orsted's got more than one option, that means that Einarson has got more than one obvious shot to deal with. You definitely want to eliminate this stone or neutralize it somehow. And all the discussion was, well, how hard do we throw it? Where do we want to leave the shooter? Looks to me with the brush position, Rory, after all the discussion, just a pretty straightforward elimination here.
Yeah, keep your weight kind of control bumper. Let the sweeping determine exactly where you hit the stone. You don't need to blast it out of the rings. It's more about keeping your shooter in a good spot as well. Really don't want to get the high side of it, though.
Maybe not.
And they're going to... I mean, it's not terrible. Not ideal, though. It is yellow shot now.
Well, and has opened up the scoring area by about 3 feet as well for Sherrilee Orsted. So not only is she lying one now, but she's got a little bit of room to play with that she didn't have a few moments ago. So can we freeze that back one? The trick is, how do you get there? You're going to have to flirt
you
with
gotta
the
err
yellow
on the
or the
inside.
red.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's right, though. There's a few obstacles in the way of the draw path.
This is not an easy shot by any means if you're going to try to freeze this stone just in the back forefoot, which appears to be the call for Candace Newkirk. Sweeper's on it almost right out of hand. And this gives us an idea why this stone is going to come up light.
Yep. Not going to do it. Have to have that in the ring somewhere with a hope to score it.
So Kerri's got some options here. I mean, it is super inviting to go right around the pile into the lid. It's almost set up for it, but then that's a bit of a sucker play.
If she sees a fairly straightforward way to get rid of that yellow, I like it, but I don't see anything straightforward about this yellow, red, yellow.
Nope, nothing straightforward at all about that.
Should be fun to watch these rocks explode, though. You learn something new every time, something like this.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out what ideal contact point is here. It is seems to us like the play is yellow, red, yellow. Good look on the overhead there. And yeah, for me, the question mark is, well, yeah, the angle should be there. Even nose should do it okay.
Decent weight from Kerri.
A lot of granite to move.
Yeah, should be an interesting run back. Let's see what happens. Pokes it a little bit. Yeah, just so much momentum bled off of the top contact point. I just didn't see how much moving 4 rocks at an angle.
Exactly.
It's tough to get enough momentum to punch that yellow out of the rings, but they get shot rock out of it.
They do. And you're exactly right. You nailed it, Rory, that moving 4 rocks is one thing, but moving 4 rocks when you're clipping them thin and you're losing a lot of momentum on the way, you have to throw a heater to get all of them moving a lot. And Kerri got them moved enough to leave herself shot. And there is a delicate but makeable shot for 2 here for Sherrilee Orsted. Gonna have to surgically squeeze it past the yellow stone. And she has not got far to roll, so she's going to have to make contact just off nose to hang around for second shot. But it is a makeable shot.
Yeah, and like you said, just to put a deuce on the board and to know that you converted hammer in this game, even if you end up shaking hands in this one, it's good to know as a team that you can put this type of end together and carry that through to your next game and the rest of the Bonspiel.
Taking a lot of ice here, though. She is playing red, which I suspect she is. Now she's going to come down for another look. Maybe she got in the hack and said, geez, that looks like a lot of ice. Was she thinking that she had to draw to make this somehow? And now she's thinking, well, wait a minute. No, we can... The hit's there. It is absolutely there. Push it back there. We get 2. That's the shot.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to nibble enough of the forefoot to outcount the other 2 reds. Definitely change the broom here, though, so...
I do feel like
she might be coming off the high red, or maybe she's just throwing draw weight. Or...
yeah, it is the line that's puzzling me here, because it's not clear to me with that brush what kind of weight she wants to throw. To me, on this shot, you're wanting to think about hack board, really. Just off nose of the red shot rock. That's the way to score 2, but
seems like too much ice for
maybe. Yeah, it is a lot of ice for that. Well, we're about to find out, Rory.
Calling heavy. So I think she was trying to throw more of a backline kind of weight. This looks hackish. Chisel off the red. Punches it, but not quite enough. Yeah.
Well, 2 to come. So repositioning stones. Yeah, pretty straightforward now for Kerri Einarson. There is a jam shot she has to be a bit mindful of, but she won't mind for a moment losing the one in the back 8.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. That might even be a good thing. It's just another catcher stone. Forces Orsted to just draw clean for her single point. Well, the streak of changing the shot in the hack and it not working out continues. I just don't see that work out very often.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's kind of like making guess answers on Jeopardy. Usually your first instinct is right.
Well, keeps the back one around. It's going to be a draw against a million for Team Orsted.
We are familiar with this path, so there should be no doubt about the direction of the stone. It's going to just be all about the weight. Going to need T-line, going to need a piece of the lid. Yeah, down 7 drawing against 5. Not fun.
But she's going to throw it to her sweepers, and they'll feel good about making this one if they can get it in there. Drawn for 1 against Team Einarson, one of the best in the world. It's going to come a little deep. It'll hang on for second shot. It's going to be 1 point for Einarson. Pretty close on that draw weight for Sherrilee Orsted. She's had to make a lot of challenging shots, so they're just discussing right now what their plan is. I think we'll keep playing here. 5th end when we return.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the Curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Oh, welcome back. I did not see the commercials ended there. We're in the fifth end. RBC
Snuck up on you.
RBC Dominion Securities Great Western Showdown. And it is a showdown. We got started on Thursday night. We're going all the way through to Monday. It's a super good event here in Swift Current, our fourth annual, and we have streamed every single one of them at Curling Stadium. You know what, Hans? That actually makes it a little bit of a special one for me. It's a 4-year anniversary of when I got in the car with James Gordon. We took a bunch of computers and cameras and equipment to Swift Current, and we set up our very first streaming event of this caliber.
Yeah.
James had cameras in his club at the Martinsville Curling Club. Great curling club. Good events there as well. But this is sort of our first big one. So it's always kind of special to me to see how far we've grown in that time and that this event has also grown.
No, yeah, absolutely. And kudos to everyone that's been involved, you know, yourself and the whole crew behind Curling Stadium. This has been getting better and better. This is a great event and great field, a men's and women's field. And as you say, starting Thursday, going right through the early part of the week, kind of feels like, you know, a national championship, just in terms of, you know, it's not like a 3-day spiel and you kind of whip through. You know, this is a big commitment in terms of time and effort. The town is behind it. You see the spectators in the background. So, yeah, it's a big event.
Yeah, there's a lot of Grand Slam caliber teams here internationally as well. And then some local kind of teams that we see in Western Canada on the tour. So it's a good little sort of meshing of worlds. And you never know when a kind of team out of nowhere is going to beat one of the best in the world, like we saw this afternoon in the Gushu Pierce game. I know Pierce is a pretty experienced team, but they don't really travel on tour very much. And to see them really play well and beat Brad Gushu today, that's special.
Well, the one thing I know from my playing days when I used to live in Canada, you know, you'd play against the prairie teams and, you know, there'll be people that you just are unfamiliar, and they're just the depth of awesome talent in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, teams that are not necessarily the inverted quote name teams, but boy, can they play.
Yeah, I've got a few friends playing in this event out in Swift Current. They really look forward to this. This is what they build a lot of the season around, practicing all day, every day for weeks leading up to this, because they know this is a great chance to play some of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, and that's a real treat for any competitive player. When you get a chance to play in a spiel or an event, when you can, you know, get a yardstick, you can just say, where do we stack up, really? You know, you might be dominant locally, but where do we stand up against the best of the best? And so when you get a chance to play an event like this, you know, you quietly hope that you're going to get drawn against one of the big hitters, because it's a chance to just see where you're at for real. You know, you talk about it hypothetically in the bar or just, you know, over team dinners or things like that. You know, if we had a chance to play so-and-so, boy, I think we could take them. Well, here's a chance to show it. And it's a fantastic event, and it gives everybody a wonderful opportunity to show what they can do against the very best.
No, super well said, Hans. I feel the same way.
Can't say enough about this terrific curling facility at Swift Current, as you pointed out earlier, Rory.
Mm-hmm.
Right beside the hockey rink where World Championship events have been held. So when I was here in 2016 doing commentary at Women's Worlds, curling club was the Patch, but, you know, boy, oh boy, what a curling facility this is. raising that top stone. It's going to squirt to the back ring. Everything in the rings is good for Team Orsted.
Yeah, I just want to give out a shout out to ice maker Jason Bratton and his crew. He's trained a lot of younger ice makers as well. Rachel Schlechter comes to mind. She helps at the Highland now with Darren Grass. Mitch Meekin was here earlier helping with ice. James Gordon. Just a really good ice crew at Swift Current. They've created a great reputation for themselves.
And players know that too, don't they, Rory? You know, you just know when you're going to go to an event or to a club. You just have that vibe that, oh, I love playing there. The playing conditions are always great. And that is such a mindset for the athletes when they're walking onto the ice surface, that they just know that the ice conditions are going to let them do what they can do best. And it's a treat for us. And yeah, the unsung heroes of our sport, the ice techs, shout outs to them, because when they do a great job, boy, it produces some magic on the ice.
Oh, for sure. The confidence it gives you when you know you can fine tune your game with the trust that the ice is going to behave in a predictable way. You're not always going to be right about it, but it's going to show you something. And if you learn from that mistake, you know, you can correct it for the next one. It allows for some high-end shot making and really entertaining games. Just a little tap forward, trying to use any old thing that they can find, Team Orsted, to either sit in front of or hide behind.
And doing whatever you can to generate something here. And that shot reminds me, our team used to work with Bill Shearhart, very well-known curling coach, and Bill used to have a great little thought that always stuck with me. Because when you're looking at a game situation, if you can't think of anything better to do, throw your stone in front of somebody else's rock, see what happens. And it's amazing how that can generate offense.
Not a bad idea.
And after Bill gave me that thought, I thought, okay, I started watching curling games on 5 times speed. I would just watch games, fast forward them, and just watch the exchange of rocks, one after the other. And I would look for situations where somebody had thrown something in front of something else and what happened as a result of that. And it was amazing how often you'd get jams, half shots, oh, should have made it, but situations. So that was a real telling situation for me, and it was a real, evidence point. So, oh yeah, okay. There's more than one way to generate offense. You don't have to make perfect freezes. You don't have to throw guards all the time. Sometimes you can just sit a stone in front of something else and create a jam.
It's a super good point, and perhaps a lost art, because it was really easy on those VHS players. They had many gears of fast forward speeds. You could really fine tune it. And then the PVRs, it's not as good because it's a digital recording, so it kind of jumps. It jumps between frames. It's not good for watching the game. So that was like a VCR era coaching tip that you just gave. But hey, I want to let everyone at home know. I know not everyone's really sophisticated with YouTube. When you're watching on YouTube, I think you can do this from your mobile phone as well. If you click the settings button in the side of the menu bar and go to playback speed, you can do what Hans just described and play the game back at a higher speed. And the frames are actually pretty good. So exactly like Hans described, you can watch an end in 3 or 4 minutes and really just see the kind of zoop, 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 see the stones come in. And it's interesting to keep your perspective that quick, because like you said, Hans, you get to see the results of certain trades, certain tactical trades.
Exactly. Lots to work with here. Freezes and hit and roll opportunities aplenty. love to see Sherrilee just weld one here just because. I think this is something you just love to see in this situation. It's been so difficult for the team. They've been in tough really from the outset. And you'd like to see them rewarded with one really beautiful shot. This one, however, is going to overcurl.
You can see Sherrilee shaking her head. She even just threw her hands kind of in the air.
Some days it's just not your day.
I'll see if I can get her talking to the front end here. Oh, sorry, Connor. I'm going crazy on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta laugh.
Exactly. It's a long season. You play a lot of games, and then there are some games where it just doesn't happen for you. And this, unfortunately, is one of those for Team Orsted. But very much keeping it in perspective. It's a curling game.
Not much to protect here. I think they're fine with just occupying the path. They probably wanted that right in the 4-foot button area. Trying to keep their shot making precise. You know, you don't want to kind of let yourself sink down to, okay, well, just anywhere in here is fine. You want to keep throwing precise shots and making precise shots.
Yeah, the very best teams are excellent at that. Not that they're being disrespectful to their opponents, but it's more around just keeping a good set of habits and a good set of precision. So you're not going to let yourself get sloppy in any situation, whether you're up 5 or down 5. Every shot, you play it on its merits. And that's really important because when you get into, they use baseball terms, high leverage situations later in the year, you can just draw on that repetition. If you're executing every shot in a systematic way right through the course of the season, when you've got a huge one on the line for a national championship or a tournament win, it just feels normal. You're just doing
fun little in-off to
year.
end the 5th end. See if they can score one that way. Gets the top one, makes a really nice roll. Beautiful shot, settles in right on the pin.
Right through the course of the season, when
And
you've got a huge one on the line for
choose to end on a high
national
note.
championship
That'll
or a
be
tournament win,
handshakes here on sheet
it just
2.
feels normal. Yeah, well worth.
Just
Final
fun
look.
little in-off to end the 5th end.
Lovely little hit and roll.
See if they can score one that way.
To get ourselves
Gets
onto the
top
scoreboard.
One, makes a really nice
that will
roll.
be the final act
Beautiful
of this
shot.
story.
I think it's pretty good for both teams. They both kind of end in a happy place. Orsted, makes that last rock. Gets to hang a point and feel good about their last team shot. And then Team Einarson gets to feel good about defending the lead. They played a really solid game, kept themselves disciplined and focused. And watch out for Team Einarson. Shannon Burchard's back, and she means business. Well, for my partner Hans and our switcher Connor, thank you very much for tuning in to Curling Stadium. We are not done yet. Go ahead and tune into one of the other games on the ice right now. We have 2 features still going, and every game from every sheet streamed live, of course. So have a great evening watching curling, everyone. I know I will. Have a good night.
Handcrafted in Canada, Artline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
So, quick question.